people have attached ribbons to some of the trees here. You can see there. So it just said it again. It said go again. So it's like the 7th time it said go. It's going off again. Thank you. But I don't know whether maybe it's me. Maybe it's because I put something down and that's when it made it go off, but it wouldn't still be going off. Welcome to another episode of Are Ghosts Real? Today I'm extremely excited. I am in Saversnake Forest, which is a really old forest with so much history here, which used to belong, it also has royal connections as well because it used to belong to Jane Seymour's father. And they used to do hunting here back in the day. So there's a lot of history here. Unfortunately, I passed where I was supposed to park. So I'm basically on the other side of where I wanted to be. But there's a lot of ghost stories here. And there's a lot of things people have experienced here and folklores as well attached to this place. So without further ado, I've got to find where I'm supposed to be. Because this is parkland, and back in the day there was a massive manor house on this land, and it was, as I said, owned at one point by Jane Seymour's father, and so they used to hunt here, but at the same time they've now made it quite formal. So there's actually a grand avenue, which is, I think, the UK's longest avenue. I'll have to check that when I get home, but I swear I read that somewhere. Anyway, without further ado and me prattling on, let's get into the video. So there's my car there. Hopefully I will not lose it. We shall see. Saversnake Forest stands on a plateau between Marlborough and Great Bedwin in Wiltshire. Its size is approximately 4,500 acres. And most of the forest is actually privately owned by the Earl of Cardigan and his son, Viscount Saversnake. However, they have opened it up for the public to use. The first mention of the woodland was made in AD 934. The royal forest, established in 12th century, covered most of the area, and it was extended to East Kennet and Inkpen, and also down towards the River Kennet. Saversnake Forest was not continuously wooded, as royal forests were a mixture of woodland, copses, common land and pasture. This was an area of land put into the care of Richard Estermy after the Norman conquest. I'm really hoping I'm pronouncing this all correctly, by the way. Since the Saversnake estate and forest has passed down from father to son or daughter, which did happen on 4 occasions, they were called the forest wardens, and in 31 generations it has never once been bought or sold in 1,000 years, and today it is the only ancient forest in Britain still to be in private hands. One early high point of the estate's fortunes was actually in the Tudor times, when the head of the family, Sir John Seymour, was used to welcome King Henry VIII to the forest, where the king was very keen on deer hunting. King Henry actually stayed at Saversnake in 1535, and that is when he's believed to have met Jane Seymour, his host's daughter, and this was after the execution of Anne Boleyn in May 1536. After he met her, they were subsequently married, and Jane was crowned queen just months later, causing the head of the family at Saversnake to suddenly find themselves in the royal family and father-in-law to Henry VIII. Jane, of course, as we all know, died in childbirth. After marrying a further 3 wives, Henry himself died 10 years later. So it fell to Jane's brother, Edward Seymour, 1st Duke of Somerset, to leave his estate of Saversnake Forest in 1547 and go to Hampton Court, where for the next 5 years he became Lord Protector of the King of England in all but name, while his late sister's young child, Edward, grew old enough to reign alone. In the mid-17th century to the 18th century saw variations of size in the forest. English deer parks were subject to basically getting converted to agriculture at the time. So during parts of this period, it was reported that the king's naval officers were far from happy with the state of the forest, finding but 3 or 4 trees fit for his king's use. And the open spaces were said to be infested with heath, fern, bracken. So it was very much the result of making and turning everything to agriculture, and that's the way things went. And of course, Lancelot Capability Brown was a huge person in the 17 to 1800s. He was known for landscaping, so he planted great beech avenues in Saversnake Forest, which was then some 40,000 acres, nearly 10 times bigger in it than present day. And these included the Grand Avenue, which runs through the heart of the forest, and which at 3.9 miles dead straight stands in the Guinness Book of Records as the longest tree-lined avenue in Britain. So obviously then this changed the landscape of Saversnake. A column was erected in 90 feet high, was erected by Lord Aylesbury as an impressive viewpoint, and large parts of the forest were used as munitions depots between 1940 to 1949. And then the Earl of Cardigan is currently the 31st Warden of Saversnake Forest. Right, so I'm walking. I'm trying to get to the Grand Avenue, as that is where most of the ghost stories are centered from, and that is where a woman, some say she's headless, other people say that she is just on horseback, but she appears, and basically she's from an old hunting party, and basically when she was hunting, she fell off her horse or had an accident on her horse and then died. But I found one of the trees, which has also got a bit of a legend attached to it, which is the white road oak, and this is an extremely old tree, and what an amazing tree this is. So I'll show you this tree. Look at this tree. This is so old, this tree. And there's a few trees dotted around here which are of significance and of importance, and this is one of them. I can't quite remember off the top of my head why this one is important, but there's one that was planted in Henry VIII's time, and that was planted as a I can't speak. That was basically, look at this, that was made, or planted, sorry, to you know what, I give up saying that word. But it was planted because of Henry VIII's marriage to Anne Boleyn, and so there is one of the trees that is that old, essentially. So this estate is absolutely massive. I'm still walking, still haven't got to the Grand Avenue yet, but I have come across something else, which is another significant tree, which is called the Young Punchy. I can't remember what the significance of this tree is. I need to go home and basically research this again because I forgot everything. But in my defense, there's a lot to learn from here. So, but this is, sorry, Young Porchy. This is another tree of really like historical significance. I don't think there's any folklore attached to this tree as such, but there is a fence there, so obviously they're protecting it, so you can't actually go as close to it as the other one, but it's amazing. In 2011, Saversnake appeared in the national newspapers after a 22-year-old British woman disappeared, with poor CINIEMA O'Callaghan being murdered after she left a nightclub in Swindon. It was reported that at 3:24 a text message showed that she was in Saversnake Forest area at the time that message was received. At 9:45 the next day, Reap contacted the police and reported her missing. On the 20th of March, the police issued their first public appeal for information and announced that they had begun searching Saversnake Forest. On the 23rd of March, police announced that analysis of O'Callaghan's mobile phone signals led to the identification of a number of hotspots to be investigated. Detective Superintendent Stephen Wiltshire of the Wiltshire Police said the investigation was moving with rapid pace, and members of the public were asked to stand down from searches. On the 24th of March, police made an urgent appeal for a witness of a green Toyota Avis with taxi markings which had been seen between Swindon and Saversnake Forest shortly after O'Callaghan's disappearance. On the afternoon of the 24th of March, a 47-year-old taxi driver, Christopher Hallowell from Swindon, was arrested on suspicion of kidnapping. The arrest was made at an Asda supermarket in North Swindon, where a green Toyota Avis taxi was also seized. Later the same day, O'Callaghan's body was found in a shallow grave near Uffington, Oxfordshire. On the 26th of March, the suspect was charged with O'Callaghan's murder. During a news conference on the 26th of March, Wiltshire stated that tests revealed O'Callaghan had not been sexually assaulted, but on the 1st of April, the inquest at Oxford Coroner's Court was told that it was likely that she died from head injuries, and through a forensic pathologist from the Home Office, they had yet to confirm the precise cause of death. In 2011, on the 18th of April, O'Callaghan's funeral was held at Kingsdown Cemetery. This shrubbery and this fence is a house, a manor house. I saw a really small peek of it, but unfortunately I can no longer see it. But it looks like people do live here in Saversnake Forest. And maybe this was the old manor house. I don't know. It doesn't look that old, so maybe it's not. But I just think it's really interesting. It's in here. Ignore my Costa cup. But it's in here. Don't know if you can still see it, but it's behind here. It's really hard to see. But it's just in between there. Don't know if I can find a better angle. Right, so I thought I would start off with my EMF detector. I'm really sorry, this ground is so uneven, and I'm trying so hard to keep the camera steady. Don't know what that was. Maybe it was something falling off something. So, still nothing on the EMF. Because it's so shaking, because the ground is so uneven, and because I'm carrying my bag as well, which means I'm weighted on one side, which is another reason why this is so shaky. So, obviously when I take my bag down it won't be so bad, but I am going in the right direction. I just double checked. So hopefully we should get there very soon. I have finally got, I think, to the Grand Avenue. I have no idea. I need to just double check, but I think this is the Grand Avenue. Well, I'm really hoping it is anyway. So brilliant news, just double checked, this is the Grand Avenue. So this basically used to be, this is the longest avenue in the UK. I did look it up, and yes, I was correct in saying that the first time. And this basically cuts through the wood. So I'm gonna do my investigation here, because this is where she's supposed to be seen. She's supposed to be riding along here, down here, this headless woman. Getting up, the cable nearest to me, that one, was going off. It stopped going off now, so I'm just a little bit off the road here, because people do bring their cars down here and then sort of park in these little bits here. So I wanted to get out of the road. If there are any spirits here that would like to come and say hello to me, you're very welcome to do so. I've put some little balls down there for you. That's the reason why they're going off, because I just put them down again. That's interesting though, that one is still going off. That's my blue one. Thank you, that's you making that go off, thank you. Don't know whether you can tell that it's going off, because it's still quite light here. Can just about make out that that's going off, but the other one's not going off. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to swap them around. So I'm going to move the blue one. It's just going off non-stop, which is interesting. It's not the wind, because the other one is not going off at all. You can see now, because I've got them both in the same shot, that it's just the one at the bottom of the screen that's going off, not the other one. So that's really interesting. So I'm just going to swap them around. So the blue one, oh no, this is the black one, sorry, not the blue one. So the black one I'm now going to put down here. This is one I've not marked yet, and we will swap them. Okay. So if you are here, please make, I'll just let that go off, hang on, it's still going, there we go. If you are here, can you make the one go off that you just made go off before, please? I've just swapped them around, but they do exactly the same thing. They don't harm you. That's interesting. Nothing is going off now. Is there a spirit here with me? Could you confirm that for me? If you are here, can you make this one of the cat balls go off? Maybe you can make the black one go off, which I just moved, which is there now. Could you do that? Just so I know you're here. Or you can come and talk to me. My name is Corrine. I mean you no harm. If there's any Tudors here. Hello? I'll wait for that plane to pass. When I was getting ready to come here today, I didn't think about this, but I have a necklace on which is a boar. Now, the significance of the boar is obviously this was a hunting ground, so they might like that. But there's also another thing they might not like about this is the boar. This boar particularly represents Richard III, and he was the last Plantagenet king. And obviously the Tudors killed Richard III. Because Henry basically fought Richard on the battlefield and then basically killed him. So me wearing this may actually anger some of the spirits if they know exactly what this token represents. I don't know whether they would. I don't know whether or not they would have been taught that, or whether they would have recognized that. I mean, possibly, because you know it wasn't actually, in terms of time frame, wasn't that long time frame between the Tudors. I mean, by Henry VIII's reign, you know, there wasn't that many years, if you like, in between. So there may have been the older generation that may understand what this boar represents. So if they're hanging out here, they might be a bit like, well, why the hell is she wearing that? How rude. But I didn't think about it this morning, and when I got up, I didn't actually think about it. I just love Richard III, and I have lots of little Richard III trinkets, and this is one of them. Oh, my cable's going off. Thank you. Are you upset that I'm talking about Richard III? I just missed that. As soon as they stop talking. Car just passed them. Because you are actually allowed to drive down here. You know, this is a working road, so you are allowed to drive down this driveway. But bear in mind, the black cat ball is in a different spot now. Unfortunately, didn't get that on my camera, because by the time I swung my camera around, it had turned itself off. But if you are here, please don't be shy of me. My name is Corrine. I mean you no harm. I'm not a nasty person. Or I don't mean any disrespect, and I'm really sorry if you do not like my boar necklace. I didn't mean to offend you today. That's not what I meant at all. you are here, can you try and speak to me? Can you try and speak into this device that I'm holding? It's not going to harm you. All it does is it takes your portrait and allows me to hear you. And that is it. So could you do that for me? Could you stand in front of it or stand next to me and talk into it as loud as you possibly can? You can tell me how much you don't like Richard III if you would like. Is this the lady who's supposed to be here? And she's supposed to be headless. And she had an accident. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn on GhostTube Vox now. And see if I get anything related to that. Because it'd be interesting to see if I get anything related to what happened. In terms of the accident. Is it true that she fell off her horse while she was hunting? Could you tell me that was the case? I feel like it's gone very quiet again now. I feel like I may have riled them up with speaking about Richard III, and now they're like, yeah, go away. You upset me. I'm really sorry if I have upset you. I just want to find out more about you. Did you hunt boar here? Was there boar on this land? I know there was deer. Could you go and speak into this little thing for me down here and tell me? There's a car coming. I'm going to do an EVP session just because I feel like people will be driving up and down this road. So I feel like it probably is going to be very hard for me to do that. But Vox is just not saying or doing anything, is it? And the cat balls have not gone off since. But yeah, Vox is being really quiet. Like, really quiet. Maybe I'm just in the wrong location. Maybe whoever was here just got offended and then walked off. Move to another location now. I'm still on the avenue. So there we go. Up there, down there. I'm just a little bit further down now than I was. So it's going off again. Thank you. But I don't know whether maybe it's me. Maybe it's because I put something down and that's when it made it go off, but it wouldn't still be going off. And Vox actually came up with a word that said without as well. But again, I wasn't filming because my alarm was going off, so I had to turn it off. Because unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave because I don't have much time today. So that was my alarm to tell me that I need to go. And just as I need to go, the cat ball is going off again. If there is someone here and you're making that go off, thank you. Could you come and speak into this thing here, please? Put it down there. Can you go and speak into that as well? I'm gonna have to go. I know I've only just got here, but I need to go to work. Oh look, there it goes again. This is so annoying. I'm now getting things and I now need to leave. It said who? Yeah, I know. Who indeed? Who are you? My name is Kareen. Can I find out who you are? Can you give me your name, please? Is this the woman who had the accident? I'm really sorry that happened to you. Can you tell me who you were? Oh, cat ball's going off again. You know what I'm going to do is, because it keeps being the black one, I'm going to put another one in its place again. Because, I don't know, maybe it's my cat ball. Maybe the cat ball is going a bit, yeah, I don't know. So we'll move that one back up there and we'll put this one there instead. I know I need to go to work, but I might be a little bit late for work, but it's fine. Is it okay if I can come back here and talk to you again? Would you be okay with that? This time I promise I won't wear the same necklace. I'll wear a different necklace. If there is a lady here, what sort of necklaces did you wear? And jewels. What was Tudor England like for you? Go. Go. I said go twice. Oh. I know, I do need to go, you're right. Because I need to go to... Again. That's 5 times that just said go. Okay, I will go. I will respect you. And I will go. And also I need to go, because I need to go to work. So if you're looking out for me and you're going, you need to go because of work, thank you. Because I could honestly talk to you all day. Or I could be here all day. So appreciate your help again. So it just said it again. It said go again. So that's like the 7th time it said go. So I'm going to pack up now. Because I need to leave anyway, because I'm going to be very late for work. Because I've got to drive back home, get changed, and then go to work. So this is a really quick investigation. But thank you for talking to me. And thank you for looking out for me. I appreciate that one. Could you say goodbye to me, please? You know what I think I'm going to do is, while I walk back, I'm actually going to probably leave GhostTube on. Why is it saying there's no... Yeah. I'm probably going to leave GhostTube on and see if it comes... Whoa! And I was going to say, and see if it comes up with anything while I'm walking back. I think... The only issue is this is going to be very hard. Here. Okay, thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm just thinking this is going to be quite hard to do because I'm already shaking the camera so badly. I made it back to the car. I'm so sorry I had to go so quickly. I need to come back here another day and do a proper investigation here, definitely, because that was really interesting with that cat ball, and it was just the black one that just kept going off in both locations, which is weird because none of the other ones went off. And then I got go like almost 10 times I got go on GhostTrib, which is also really interesting. So yeah, definitely feel like I need to take another day off, like not another day, sorry, need to take a whole day off, there we go, to come back and investigate this place properly and just bring all my gadgets with me and just spend way longer here. Because as well, I didn't realize how big this place is. Like, I've just done a tiny bit. All you've seen is a tiny bit. This estate is absolutely massive, so definitely worth me coming back, I think. But if you really did like this video and you want me to come back, please do smash that like button, leave me a comment, and also subscribe, so when I do come back you don't miss that. As I said, I've got some fantastic locations coming your way, and I am so excited for series 4, as we are now on series 4, and I want to thank you guys so much for letting me get that far. Because I love doing this. This is like so much fun for me, because I love history as well, and I get to incorporate those passions as well. And so yeah, I'm so happy to get to season 4. So thank you so much for your support, and I shall see you guys from another haunted location. And yeah, have a very spooky week. Bye everyone!